It's the hashtag Simply Cyber, COMMUNITY. Here to break the cycle, this is vital more than you and I. Yeah, it's exciting, it don't matter what your title is. You can grab a friend or two or three or four and invite them in. It's the Simply Cyber, bring a good vibe. It's the live with Jerry every morning, having good time. And you know we love to see for you, just gotta go and get it. Yeah, you know we all believe in you, it's time we grow together. It's the Simply Cyber, bring a good vibe. It's the live with Jerry every morning, having good times. And you know we love to see for you, just gotta go and get it. Yeah, you know we all believe in you, it's time we grow together. Dr. Auger is a OG, got that potion, the elixir. Got devotion to all those who keep on showing up to witness. Fit the tricks and quips and all the tips to raise your cyber fitness. Switching up the routines, pass it off to James McQuiggan. Keep the people smiling, hit that follow, that's a good decision. Every week, today, tomorrow, I encourage y'all to listen. We gon' teach y'all way more than how to protect yourselves from phishing. More like being confident so you can recognize a vision. On a mission, it's official, we gon' get through all these issues. Time for jaw jacking, baby, this is more than a tradition, yeah. Oh, I can't forget to recognize the mods. They the engine, they the reason that you leave and feeling charged. It's a Simply Cyber, bring a good vibe. It's that live with Jerry every morning, having good times. And you know we love to see for you, just gotta go and get it. Yeah, you know we all believe in you, it's time we grow together. It's a Simply Cyber, bring a good vibe. It's that live with Jerry every morning, having good times. And you know we love to see for you, just gotta go and get it. Yeah, you know we all believe in you, it's time we grow together. Yeah. What else can I say? I hope you find some value in this place and have yourself an awesome day. Simply Cyber's here to stay. So let's all put our hands together ready. Time to hang with Dr. A.
The cybersecurity landscape never sleeps. Every minute, thousands of new threats emerge. Millions of attacks are launched and billions of dollars are at stake. But in this constant stream of cyber incidents and updates, what should you actually care about? Well, that's why we're here. This is the Daily Cyber Threat Brief. I'm Dr. Gerald Auger, and these are the top cyber headlines. All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the party. Today is Friday, May 9th, 2025. This is episode 874 of your Simply Cyber Daily Cyber Threat Brief podcast. I am your host, as usual, Dr. Gerald Auger. And over the next hour, me, you, Mondo Avila, Augusta Delgado, Port Zero in the upstate, Carrie down under, or down in Texas, Swims with Sharks, Augusta Delgado, Marcus Kyler of the Yeet Crew. Among others, we got mods, Gen Z, Gen Alpha, Gen X, Millennials, everyone, graybeards, and smooth skins alike. We're all going to be shredding the top cybersecurity news stories of the day, and I'll be going deeper with my efforts to expand on those stories and be able to mine cybersecurity risk reduction elements for you so that you can tactically improve your organization's cyber posture today and strategically long-term. And on top of that, we love delivering value here on the show, so we will be helping you level yourself up as a professional, making sure that you can be resilient in this very difficult job market. Reduction in force, layoffs, you work at CrowdStrike, 500 people gone, you work in the U.S. government, you get doged, whatever it is, it's all about resiliency, right? Hey, I'm the first person to say it's not cybersecurity, it's cyber resiliency. And career resiliency is another thing that we promote here. It's a little meta, it's a little, kind of sub under the radar, but it is vitally important. Now listen, if you don't already work in the industry and you found us, welcome to the party, pal, but don't think that this show is for practitioners only. Yeah, okay, we could talk about that. Like basically, hold on one second. If you're looking to break into the industry, you're absolutely going to get value from the stream. You're going to be asked in any job interview, how do you stay current? Ding, ding, ding. A winner, a chicken dinner. The Daily Cyber Threat Brief is a banger of an answer. Not only are you going to be current, because we're going to be talking about those stories, but dude, some of the things that we iterate on here, you could steal that and bust it into a job interview and really demonstrate your proactivity, your initiative. Listen, people who are interviewing you work in the industry. They are fully aware of what's going on and what it takes to stay current. So when you demonstrate that by just kind of whipping up, oh yeah, did you see? Did you see what happened with that? That the retailers out in the UK? Yikes, right? All right, hey, James McQuiggan with 10 gifted subs. Thanks, James McQuiggan. As always, James McQuiggan is at 35,000 feet, but he's also bringing the dad jokes every single Friday. Today is Friday, which means that the mid-roll, James O'Quicken at 35,000 feet is going to be dropping rib ticklers on your head. Now, really quick, I want you to know of all the stories we're going to be covering, I've prepared for 0 of them.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Now, listen, you might be like, wait a minute, did Jerry come to this meeting unprepared? First of all, that doesn't sound like Jerry. Second of all, what? No, here's the deal, guys. It's authentic. It's real. I'm giving you hot takes and my first reactions and then dipping into my experience. Do I make mistakes? Sure. Do we have audio issues sometimes? Yeah, it happens. But, dude, this is real. This is authentic. This is what we're doing here. It's like you're in the office with me sitting in the chair back there and I'm just flipping out about these things. So get your cup of coffee, settle in. We got a great show for you. I do want to address the intro stingers, space tacos. Thanks, Jeff Watala, with the gift. With the squad membership. Love that blue badge on you, dude. Hey, listen, Space Taco said it. Some of you have been talking about it. We have this intro right here. Okay, and the audio of that intro, I went back and watched it on replay. The audio of that intro, I think, is too loud, and I don't have an easy way to dial it down without re-rendering the whole damn thing. And I'm sorry to say, I don't have time to do that right now. I'm busy. So for the sake of people's ears, for the sake of the quality of the program, I haven't been playing it this week simply because I think it's loud for people. And if I'm mistaken, let me know. If you guys don't think it's too loud, let me know and I'll go back to playing it. Good morning, Kimberly Can Fix It, Justin Gold, Casually Joseph in the chat. We see a lot of blue badges like James O'Quigan, Z-Myth, Priceless Pancake, Augusta Delgado. Thank you, Lara Flores. All right, guys, let's go ahead and do the ad reads really quickly. We'll rip through that. I do want to say thank you to the stream sponsors who have not only support the show and allow me to bring this show to you, but all of them, hold on. Okay. If Space Tacos is going to be representing the contingent, hold on one second. The contingent of people who like the volume. Let me just really quickly go back to playing old intro. And then I'm going to say yes, no, and then yes, but lower volume. Okay, which is what I thought. 3 answers. Here we go. Go ahead and vote on it. Please, community, you have the opportunity to influence the show, as always. I do engage with you guys quite a bit. Let's go ahead and do the ad reads, and then when we come back, I'm going to tell you how this show can absolutely eviscerate, decimate, and melt the face of your CPE requirements. I'll be in chat. Let's go. I want to give some love to the Daily Cyber Threat Brief sponsor, ThreatLocker. Do zero-day exploits and supply chain attacks keep you up at night? Well, worry no more. You can harden your security with ThreatLocker. Worldwide, companies like JetBlue trust ThreatLocker to secure their data and keep their business operations flying high. ThreatLocker takes a deny-by-default approach to cybersecurity and provides a full audit of every action allowed or blocked for risk management and compliance. Onboarding and operation is fully supported by their US-based Cyber Heroes support team. Get a free 30-day trial and learn more about how ThreatLocker can help prevent ransomware and ensure compliance. Visit threatlocker.com. That's right. Also want to say shout out to Antisyphon training, guys. Next week, John Strand is giving a live 4-day, 4-hour training that you can take for $0. I'll just repeat that so everybody can let that really sink in. For $0, for free, for no financial commit, you can learn from a seasoned, really, really great instructor, seasoned practitioner, good guy. He doesn't really pull any punches. He tells it how it is. These are great labs, well vetted. If you're looking to break into the industry or even just brush up on some of your old skills, maybe you've gotten into management, right? And you've gotten away from the keyboard, but you yearn for the days when you could clack, 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 clack away on the keyboard, right? Come check it out. 4 days, 4 hours a day, May 12th through 15th, just next week, Monday through Thursday. They set it up so you can still do your work. You can still check emails and crap and bang out some learning. I'm going to drop a link in chat. And if you do it, tell them you're tell them you're hashtag Team SC. We do enjoy rating the Antisyphon trainings. Not only is it a great deal and good education, but Team SC comes correct. So you guys are always socializing and high-fiving with each other in there. It's awesome. All right. Also want to say shout out to Delete Me. Where's my Delete Me overlay? There it is. Boop. Delete Me, guys. Hey, listen, Delete Me makes it easy, quick, and safe to remove your personal data online at a time when surveillance and data breaches are common enough to make everyone vulnerable, including me, including you. It's easier than ever to find personal information about people online. Literally, we live in the data economy now. Having your address, your phone number, and family members' names hanging out on the internet can have actual consequences in the real world, not just the virtual world, and makes everyone vulnerable. As someone with an active online presence, privacy is really important to me. I want to pick and choose my IRL experiences. Also, my kids, my wife, they didn't sign up for this, although they do support me and support the community. Many of you met them at Simply CyberCon. But, you know, guys, at the end of the day, it's like, I'm not private because I'm trying to hide something. I'm private because I'd like to choose how and when I share my in real life and my personal stuff. So I need to control that, right? Take control of your data. Keep your private life private by signing up for Delete Me now at a special discount for Simply Cyber listeners. Get 20% off your Delete Me plan when you go to joindeleteme.com/simplycyber. Use promo code simplycyber at checkout. The only way to get 20% off is to go to joindeleteme.com/simplycyber. Enter code simplycyber at checkout. That's joindeleteme.com/simplycyber. Code simplycyber. Wow. Thank you, Delete Me. Also, we're going to talk about Barricade in a hot minute. My wife did sign up for me. Yes. She did take the oaths, right? If you're reading the Stormlight archive, she did take the oaths. She stood at the altar and claimed in front of all that she would marry me and choose to spend her life with all this. Oh, I got the long end of that stick. I do love my wife, but I like to think I'm low maintenance, but I think I'm extra Gen Alpha or whatever, Gen Z, whatever. All right, guys. Hey, every single episode of the Daily Cyber Threat Brief is worth half a CPE. Half a CPE. This episode, half a CPE. Monday's episode, half a CPE. And we're being very conservative, guys. Take a screenshot. Say what's up in chat. Chat is right above my head, right? Code Brew, Alexia Grimes, Marcus Kyler. Just say what's up in chat. Grab a screenshot. Hey, Jenny Housley, make sure that you get the episode 874 and the date, which is in the title of this video. File it away once a year. Count up the screenshots. Divide by 2. That's it. Super easy, okay? Guys, I'm about to go hard here, but I want to say if today's your first episode, drop a hashtag first timer in chat. Hashtag first timer in chat. And we got a special sound effect for you. We got a special email for you. Jamie Fleck coming in hot. Jamie Fleck, ladies and gentlemen, up in New England. Good to see you, Jamie Fleck. You guys, maybe some of you saw Ms. Julian in chat. You might know her from such places as selected to speak at Wild West Hackenfest 2025. That's the same Julian. Okay. The bingo, I don't think we did the bingo last week. Do you guys want to do bingo? We can do bingo. Hey, real quick, last thing before we leave the station. All aboard! Wait, I don't know why my voice cracked and then I immediately drooled on myself. So things are starting out pretty good today. Hey, listen, is your Microsoft 365 environment secure with business email compromise attacks on the rise? Your entire situation, your entire operation could be at risk. Now, Fortify 365 from Barricade Cyber Solutions knows and can help you protect your organization. Their team of experts implements proven security standards to protect your business from cyber threats, ensure compliance, y'all, and safeguard your sensitive data. They've helped countless organizations strengthen their M365 defenses, including mine, with tailored solutions that address real-world vulns. Don't wait until after a breach to take action. Visit Fortify365 today.com today to learn how they can secure your Microsoft 365 environment against tomorrow's threats. Basically, guys, Barricade Cyber Solutions has a service where they can help you configure your M365 environment to be secure. It's worth it. Trust me. If you're running, dude, if your M365 security posture is YOLO, if hope is your strategy, you definitely need to call them, Fortify365.com. Yo, really quickly, before we get into the show, let's give a shout out here. Rapid Bunny 69, first timer, welcome to the party, the Rapid Bunny. And Jeremiah O'Sullivan, my boy Sully, probably from Boston, first timer joining the live stream. Been listening this last week. It's been amazing. All right, welcome to the party, pal. Squad members, if you would, please make it rain John McClane on our first timers. I'll do it with you. The Rapid Bunny and Jeremiah O'Sullivan. Let's go. All right, guys, do me a favor. We got a great show for you. We're going to have jaw-jacking panel. We have a very special guest, a brand new person to jaw-jacking panel. They've never done it before, and they are an incredibly seasoned senior practitioner. Many of you know who he is. I talked to him yesterday, and I told him about it, and he's like, yeah, I'm in. Let's do it. All right, so sit back, relax, and let's let the cool sounds of the hot news wash over us in an awesome wave. See you at the mid-roll.
From the CISO series, it's cybersecurity headlines.
These are the cybersecurity headlines for Friday, May 9th, 2025. I'm Steve Prentice. Cisco patches a level 10 vulnerability in iOS XE. This action is intended to fix a maximum severity security flaw with a CVSS score of 10 in its iOS XE wireless controller. This vulnerability, quote, could enable an unauthenticated remote attacker to upload arbitrary files to a susceptible system, end quote. In an advisory released Wednesday, Cisco stated the vulnerability exists, quote, due to the presence of a hard-coded JSON web token on an affected system. They continue, an attacker could exploit this by sending crafted HTTPS requests to the AP image download interface, end quote. It should be noted, however, that for an exploitation to be successful, the out-of-band AP image download feature must be enabled on the device, and this is something that is disabled by default.
All right. So there's a bunch to unpack here, okay? So first of all, Cisco vulnerability, not good. Let's check the EPSS score. Again, anytime I see a CVE, I go to EPSSlookup.com, which is Barricade Cyber's tool. This is a free tool, free service to everybody. I'm actually going to make a YouTube short right after the channel video today or whatever, because people need to know about this damn thing. All right. Even though it has an EPS CVSS score, so Common Vulnerability Scoring System of 10.0, which is the absolute worst. This is the volcano isn't just smoking. There's like hot lava spitting out of it and streams of lava coming down the mountain towards your house. But if you look at the EPSS score, which is more like how likely is this to be my problem, it has a 1/1500th of 1% chance of you experiencing it in the next 30 days, which means the way I would interpret this as a cybersecurity professional is this isn't something you want to have in your environment, and you should address it. But this is during a normal maintenance window and getting it sorted out, coordinating with your networking team, because this is a network device, if it even exists in your environment, okay? And really quickly, just to point a thing out, if you go to your IT counterparts, your networking team, your endpoint team, your server team, whatever, and you're always like, oh my God, oh, you gotta patch it, oh, you gotta patch it, you gotta patch it. You begin to lose. It's not losing political capital, but like if everything's urgent, then nothing is urgent, if you're picking up what I'm putting down. So like for one of these right here, this is bad, but this is, hey, hey, we got this problem. Let me know when the next maintenance window is, and if you guys can fix this. Like collaborate with them and try to integrate with their existing processes and workflows. If this thing was like a 98% chance you're going to get it, that is when you pull that arrow out of your quiver, the big one that says this needs to be your priority now, and that's when you shoot that one. So it's a finesse game. It's not really politics, but it's a finesse game, and it's an empathy game. So don't freak out on all these things. You have to be empathetic and understanding of them. So this one, to me, is not a hot mess express. It's definitely not one that you want to maintain. Now, Okay, I don't even know. I just like kind of did a buffer overflow. If you go back and listen to me, I'm like, listen, this is a Cisco access point. They say AP, it's access point. This is a wireless access point. So if you're a Cisco shop, right, you're a larger, well, you don't have to be a larger organization, but if you're an organization that has deployed Cisco infrastructure and you've got Cisco access points running around and you're running the Cisco iOS XE wireless controller to kind of help manage your wireless environment, you are likely at risk. And essentially what can happen is an attacker can upload files, perform path traversal, and execute arbitrary commands with root privileges. Basically, a threat actor can compromise this asset completely, which means they can make it a foothold, right? So the problem is there's a hard-coded JSON web token. This right here, this vulnerability is bad. This is this is shit. This is sloppy software engineering, frankly. Okay. Now, I do want to point out, because it's a wireless access point, two things have to happen. Either one, the threat actor has to physically be within the range of the access point, right, in order to communicate with it. Or the access point has to be internet facing, which would be absolutely stupid. Like there's no, if you have this in your environment and it has a public IP address, you've got bigger architecture problems. But just know that you either got to physically be in the the cloud of this access point, or you already have a position the threat actor already has a position within the network and they're able to laterally move to this access point and then compromise it. And this could be for setting up persistence or, like doing a bunch of things, setting up logging, everybody that connects to that access point, screwing around and acting as a proxy, doing adversary in the middle attacks, et cetera, et cetera. TLDR, this is bad, but you always gotta think of like, how can this actively be exploited? You know what I'm saying? Anyways, get it fixed. It sounds like it's a little bit of a pain in the A to fix it because the mechanism to correct it is disabled by default. All right, let's go.
President nominates former Unilever CISO to be Pentagon CIO. Kirsten Davies is the former Chief Information Security Officer at Unilever. According to her LinkedIn bio, which the Defense Department is using as a backgrounder, quote, she served as CISO for Unilever from September 2021 to June 2024 and had other senior information security roles at the Estee Lauder companies, Barclays Bank, Hewlett-Packard, and Siemens, end quote. She is also a member of Team 8's CISO Village, described as, quote, an avenue for exchanging ideas, collaborating as an industry, and promoting innovation in cybersecurity. Team 8 is a global venture group that invests in companies specializing in cyber capabilities and artificial intelligence, end quote.
All right, so we have CISO, Unilever CISO to be Pentagon CIO. Okay. So here's a couple things, right? This is fine. I don't know Kirsten Davies from a hole in the wall. So again, I don't try to like get political or something, but based on what I just heard and what I'm seeing, this seems like a good pick, a qualified pick, right? I was not involved in the interview process. I was not brought in on a Zoom call to evaluate Kirsten Davies. But let me take a step back and talk about this for a minute. First of all, Unilever, if you don't know who they are, that's fine, because Unilever doesn't want you to know who they are either. Unilever is this massive retail conglomerate that scoops up brands, and it's actually quite smart, and then just almost like a private equity firm manages them and makes tons of money off them. Okay, so Unilever owns, I'll give you some examples, okay? Ben & Jerry's. Did you know Ben & Jerry's with their cool, funky, Grateful Dead vibes and cartoons and, oh, I love the Cherry Garcia. And okay, Unilever bought them like 20 years ago. That you're like buying Ben & Jerry's is funding this conglomerate, which again, I don't care. I'm not saying I have a problem with them. It's business. Pantene, Gillette. I'm pretty sure they own, or Right Guard, right? Like Dove soap, right? Like these brands that we all know, they're all under the Unilever umbrella. Okay, so first of all, the whole reason I went down that road to explain that is because that is not a trivial position. To be CISO of Unilever, that's a very high profile, very demanding position. Like, let me just, again, like, it's kind of bananas, honestly. Unilever Holdings. Let's see what they hold, right? Help. Okay. Yeah. Dove, Knorr, Ben & Jerry's, Hellman's, etc. A lot of personal cares. So Unilever revenue. Okay. Again, this will all make sense in a second because this is how you have to evaluate these things. They made $14 billion last December. What? Hold on. Dude, they made $14 billion in Q4 last year, which means they basically make about $60 billion a year. So when you're making $60 billion a year and you're in charge of protecting that organization, thank you very much, Justin Gold. Here is their brands, right? Hellman's, Knorr, Dove, Lifebuoy, Magnum ice cream. Calm down. Okay. When you're making $60 billion a year, you hire good people to be in place. Also, I want to educate everybody. This is really, I feel like Jamie Fleck got ahead of this one with the more you know. Remember, guys, organizationally speaking, it's pretty common. It's becoming less common, but it has been the norm for a long time. And you still see it quite often. A CIO will be over a CISO. So even though they're both chiefs, a lot of times CISOs will report to CIOs. So in the world of career progression, it's not uncommon to see a CISO reach for the promotion of being a CIO. They're still going to be responsible for information security and strategy, but they'll have more influence over infrastructure, applications, data. So for Kirsten to get promoted from Unilever $60 billion company CISO to Pentagon CIO. And guys, the Pentagon, yeah. United States Department of Defense. It's also one of the largest organizations in the world. Okay, period. Pentagon, one of the largest, like Department of Defense, one of the largest organizations in the world. So this is a promotion. This is cool. James McQuiggan at 35,000 feet says he knows Kirsten personally. He's excited. I think this is great. This is good. I'm happy for this. Now, I also don't know if Pentagon CIO is different than DoD CIO. I assume it is. I don't know if you're just managing the building, which seems interesting. But anyways, let's go.
SonicWall patches a new zero-day vulnerability. On Wednesday, the company announced patches for 3 vulnerabilities affecting its secure mobile access 100 series appliances, all of which could lead to remote code execution. These are different vulnerabilities from those we reported on last Friday. These new vulnerabilities each have CVE numbers and CVSS ratings of 8.8, 8.3, and 6.7 respectively, and each allows an attacker to inject commands. Users are advised to update their systems as soon as possible, and more specific details about these vulnerabilities can be found in the show notes to this episode.
All right, we talked about this yesterday with Eric Taylor from Barricade Cyber Solutions. Dude, SonicWall, like, I feel like SonicWall, and Justin Gold, I feel like he's the right person to pull this. I feel like there's got to be an animated GIF that just repeats of somebody just getting kicked in the junk or slapped repeatedly or something, like just over and over and over and over. Dude, SonicWall is taking its turn in the barrel. This SMA appliance, I think this is like a small business, small, medium-sized business appliance. I'm not sure if it's a firewall or not. Let me see really quickly. What is this SMA thing? Secure remote access products. Okay, so it's like a VPN or a remote access gateway. These tools, yeah, thank you. There we go. Okay. This seems appropriate. Okay, here we go. This is Sonic Wall. Thank you, Justin Gold. All right. It's kind of hard to show you because of the header here, but right. Can I do this this way? There we go. This is like Sonic Wall right now with their SMA appliances. And if you're listening on audio, it's Batman slapping Robin repeatedly. Dude, Sonic Wall SMA, here's the good news. If you've been fixing these vulnerabilities as they've been coming out, you've probably got a great rapport with the IT team, or you already are quite familiar with the patch process for these devices. So I guess you got that going for you. Dudes, this is a remote access solution. Whenever you have a remote access solution, a firewall, a VPN, any of those kind of like internet-facing security products that have a vulnerability, you really should prioritize getting them fixed. They're responsible for the security, or in part of your security for your organization. And when they're vulnerable, the entire thing kind of collapses in on itself, right? So fix these. If you're running Sonic Wall SMA products, it looks like it's their whole product line, 100, 200, 500, whatever. Get them fixed. Real Bilbo, I know he's a Fortinet fanboy. If he has any thoughts on this Sonic Wall, Real Bilbo, basically longtime practitioner. He's in chat right now. Basically runs an MSP and deploys into people's environments. So he knows the brutality of this particular thing. So if he's got any thoughts, drop them in there, Bilbo. Justin Gold, thanks for the memes.
Venture capital firm Insight Partners confirms vital data stolen in January attack. Following up on a story we covered in February, the venture capital firm Insight Partners has announced it will be alerting an unspecified number of people over the next few days about data that was stolen as a result of the January 16th hack. This data includes, quote, personal information about its current and former employees and information relating to its limited partners. Those are the investors who provide capital to Insight's venture funds, but whose names are typically kept private, end quote. Also stolen was information about certain funds, management companies, and portfolio companies, including banking and tax information. According to the company's earlier statement in February, threat actors, quote, used a sophisticated social engineering technique to gain access to its infrastructure, end quote.
Hey, really quick, it looks like there's some conversation in here, and I apologize. I do make this show, and really all Simply Cyber programming, I strive to make it as accessible to everybody as possible. And sometimes we use acronyms and don't think twice about it. So MSP is managed service provider. Just think of it as like outsourcing your IT, right? You're a small business. You are a dentist office, right? You work on teeth. You're not an IT person. You don't want to hire an in-house IT person. So you get an MSP and you basically like timeshare IT services. And Real Bilbo essentially like runs an MSP, and that's what that is. Okay, so VC is venture capital. These are people who have extra money and they invest in businesses and stuff like that. So when you have a little bit of money, you might put it in an investment account or a checking account or a savings account or crypto if you're Jay Gold. But when you have lots of money, the move is to invest in businesses, and that's what venture capitalists do. So that's why you see businesses like Twitter, like losing money, or, you know, any of these companies like losing money year over year, yet somehow keep getting more and more funding. Those are venture capitalists that are investing them, hoping that, you know, high risk, high reward. Here's the deal. Insight Partners, company I never heard of before, doesn't matter. They got hacked. The TLDR here isn't really about Insight Partners or how to protect from this particular attack. The insight here to me, insight, I just did the little meta joke there. This venture capitalist firm, yeah, it sucks they got hacked, but the real victims are the people whose personal data got hit. Dude, this is a treasure trove. If you're a threat actor and you're just like picking peanuts out of elephant poop to make ends meet, and then you score this list, this is a list of people who have money to the level where they can invest it in business. The list of people that got compromised in this attack are so wealthy that they have money that they can gamble with effectively on businesses, right? And dude, I've heard people say, this is anecdotal, I don't have enough money to invest in businesses. anecdotally that like VCs or angel investors, if they get a hit on 1 out of every 10 businesses they invest in, it's worth it. So they can have 9 investments fail, and the one that hits, they make their money back plus more, okay? That's how much money these people have. If I was a threat actor, I would be licking my chops at this particular list because it's basically it's a pre-screened, high hot lead value list of victims that you know have money that you can attack. I am not condoning or promoting cyber crime at all. I'm just saying this right here.
This is what's on the menu, right?
Threat actors, flaming donkeys. This is it, right? So anyways, if you work, like say you support a private equity firm, like a PE firm, say you support VCs or angels investors or something like that. Yeah, Shark Tank. If you wanted to be a superhero, right? Because, dude, the people who have this money, they like their money. They do like their money.
Straight cash, homie.
If you wanted to be a champion, you might want to send this to them and just say, just very, very plainly, because, dude, these are like people who don't want to read. Very plainly, hey, just a heads up, just a heads up, you should be on heightened alert around social engineering attacks. As a PE, as a VC, as an angel investor, you have a higher likelihood of being attacked. And you can see threat actors are actually going after these lists of people. Just want to make you aware, right? Don't give them any call to action. You can offer it up. Hey, if you'd like, I can help you set up a password vault, right? Be an advocate, right? Help them out. Trust me. The people who have this kind of money, you want them to basically they find out about opportunities and stuff, right? They invest in companies. Okay, so real quick story time and then we'll move on. I know a couple VCs, right? This isn't like a flex. Like I don't run around in these circles. I don't play pickleball with them. I just know them. In fact, I actually, unfortunately, unbelievably torched a relationship with one of them. He doesn't even return my calls anymore, but I could tell that story later if you guys want. But what I will tell you is when they buy a company or they invest in a company, say the company's like $1 million company, right? And they invest $2 million and they're like, I want 50% of your company, $2 million. Okay, done. Well, now they have a lot of influence and they're like, you're doing for information security. I want you to hire my guy, Jerry, to set your information security up because I want to 10x this company and sell it. And I know we need it to be secure on paper. So Jerry, ring, Jerry. Hey, I got a job for you. Can you come help? Ding. So I'm not saying you befriend these people so they can benefit you with a job down the stream. I'm just telling you those kind of conversations do happen, and VCs are the ones that kind of drive them.
Huge thanks to our sponsor, ThreatLocker. ThreatLocker is a global leader in zero-trust endpoint security, offering cybersecurity controls to protect businesses from zero-day attacks and ransomware. ThreatLocker operates with a default deny approach to reduce the attack surface and mitigate potential cyber vulnerabilities. To learn more and to start your free trial, visit threatlocker.com/CISO. That is THREATLOCKER.com/CISO.
All right, let's go. All right, thanks everybody. So people are intrigued in this. I'll just tell you really quickly. VC flew to Charleston, took me out to dinner, pitched me on a job, like basically what I just told you. He wanted me to come in and do something. And I listened to his offer, and I told him no. And then he was apoplectic that I would decline his offer. And I tried to explain it to him, and he didn't want to hear it. And now I'm dead to him. Guys, hey, shout out to the stream sponsors. Thank you so very much, Barricade Cyber, Delete Me, Antisyphon, ThreatLocker. I genuinely appreciate the support. All about good times. Hashtag Team SC. Guys, I show up every day, and I have the, some people comment on my energy. Dude, it's easy to be pumped up when I walk into this every morning. You guys are the best. Hashtag Team SC. Every single day of the week has a special segment. And Fridays is none other than James McQuiggan at 35,000 feet. Joke of the day, dad jokes. Guys, if you know James McQuiggan for a minute. Oh, hold on. I just got offered a part-time job on Temu. I just have to contact them on WhatsApp. Going ahead and reporting junk and getting back to my jokes. All right, James McQuiggan at 35,000 feet, longtime community member. He's going to be at Simply CyberCon emceeing. He's going to be at Wild West Hackin' Fest doing a million things. He's going to be at Black Hat. This guy is everywhere, but he's always at 35,000 feet. Seat 3B. James wants you to know, guys, what is the sound made when two helium atoms are put together? What is the sound when two helium atoms are put together? I don't know, James. What is it? Hee. The helium atomic symbol is He. Sounds a little bit like... Oh, my God. Right on the nose, James. Hey, May 4th was Star Wars Day. May the 4th be with you.
Best friends. Yep.
Jess Bishop, SOC analyst extraordinaire and wonderful person. Jess Bishop with the super chat. Jerry, you have the best energy. I appreciate you. Thank you, Jess. I appreciate you, too. If you're wondering about SOC analyst work on the overnight shift, there's a great video with Jess Bishop and Stacy Loki on the channel. Go check that out. Guys, May 4th was Star Wars Day. Why do stormtroopers shop at Walmart? Why do stormtroopers shop at Walmart? Jess, do you know why stormtroopers shop at Walmart? I'll tell you why. Because they never hit Target. They never hit the Target. Oh, Walmart and Target jokes. By the way, have you seen what's going on with Target and like the public backlash? Woo! Okay, so speaking of Walmart, why has it never been hacked? Why has not Walmart never been hacked? Because it's not a Target. LOL, because Target got hit in 2015 with that major attack, POS system. Walmart's never been hit because it's not been Target. Thank you very much, James McQuiggan. Hope you enjoyed it all. You know what to do. Alpha Sierra is going to lead us off. Drum major. Let's go. Everybody feel it flow. All right, let's get back into it and finish strong, everybody.
Power School hacker now extorting individual school districts. Following up on a story we have been covering since January, the education technology company Power School now says that despite having paid a ransom, quote, the same threat actor is now attempting to use the stolen data to extort the individual school districts that it works with, end quote. The breach, which occurred in December, exposed sensitive personal data of more than 60 million K-12 students and more than 9 million teachers. Power School had expressed confidence that the incident had been resolved, telling Bleeping Computer that the hackers shared a video which purported to show the data being deleted. Apparently, however, this was not the end of the story, as at least 4 school boards have now been contacted with extortion requests.
I love Bob's Burgers. Good to see Daniel Lowry in chat. That was Tina dancing. If you have never seen Bob's Burgers, you are missing out on a treasure. Okay, so Power School got hacked a couple months ago. They paid the ransom. Threat actors promised to have deleted it. What's up, Vincent Duenas? Thanks for the squad support. And now, oh, surprise, people are getting hacked. Guys, here's the deal, okay? Power School is in like 85% of U.S. schools. It's how you like check your grades now. It's kind of crazy. It's cool. Like instead of like getting a paper report card quarterly, I can log in right now and see like if my kid did his homework this week, right? Power School is pretty cool. Good solution. But here's the deal. When you make a payment, and you can introduce this into your tabletop exercises, if you're ready to really flex on your tabletop exercises, work this one in. Threat actors attack PowerSchool. PowerSchool paid the ransom, okay? And in exchange, that's why it's a ransom, right? Hey, you pay us, we delete your data, we give you the keys, you decrypt it, whatever, okay? They did their part, and now the criminals aren't holding up their end, and now basically different K through 12 schools are being extorted. So what's happened here? Guys, a couple things. Number one, what are you going to do? Complain? Like the law enforcement, like they're criminals. What do they care?
Your call is important to us. Please hold.
Right? You're going to call a friggin' call center to complain about how you paid and how, it's you want them to abide by the terms and conditions? No, they're not going to do that. Second of all, data is easy to copy and paste. Data is easy. You all have copy and pasted data, okay? So when they showed a video of them deleting data, that's fine. There was probably duplicates of it. Thirdly, a lot of these criminals, they don't know each other in real life. That's part of the deal. They want to be anonymous. That way, if Justin Gold gets arrested, he doesn't know who I really am or where I really live. Unfortunately, Justin Gold does know exactly where I live and where I am, but my point is, the anonymity around these criminal underbellies is part of the deal. So if Justin Gold stole the data and I deleted it, holding up my end of the bargain, I can't even yell at him to stop doing that because I might not know. I can yell at him online, but like whatever. So, dude, I'm telling you right now, there has been numerous instances of paying the ransom and the threat actor just takes the money and doesn't do anything. There's been instances of paying the ransom to get the decryption keys, and the decryption keys do not work. There's been instances of this right here where you pay for it and then it creeps out anyways. There's been instances of not paying the ransom and the threat actors don't disclose the data. There's been instances of not paying the ransom and they make good on their threats. So it's a mixed bag, dude. This is not like purchasing a 2026 Chevy Tahoe and you get the car and that's it and you drive it, right? Like you're dealing with criminals, bro. Anyways, you can actually, I would work this into your tabletop exercises, right? If you've already done the standard ones and people have wrapped their head around whether or not they're going to pay the ransom or not, if they say, hey, we're going to pay the ransom, it's $200,000, whatever, we're off and running. And then you can say, all right, you paid the ransom. Now it's 4 weeks later, and we're getting reports that some of our client victim organizations or some of our clients are being directly contacted by the same threat actors, and they're being extorted with this data. Do we feel we have an obligation to respond? Do we feel any compulsion? What is our response? That's a real question for the tabletop exercises and get people thinking. Becky Gaylord says PowerSchool's hiring for InfoSec rules. That's another popular thing, just as a quick aside. Dude, if you see a company getting breached, they're going to, Change Healthcare. I'd be curious if Change Healthcare went on a spending spree. Progress Software, any of these, these UK retailers, these big luxury retailers that got hit a couple weeks ago, they're probably going to hire. I know it's a little just gross to go help them, but they've been blinded by the light, right? So they're pro InfoSec.
South African Airways suffers cyber attack. The state-owned airline said the cyber attack occurred last Saturday and temporarily disrupted its website and several internal operation systems. Essential customer service channels, such as the airline's contact centers and sales offices, were not affected, and full functionality was restored later the same day. The airline has not confirmed whether the incident involved ransomware, and as of this recording, no group has taken credit for the incident.
All right. Airline cyber attack disrupted. All right, let's see what we got here. IT team contained the incident. Very nice. I like it. Sounds like there was like a DJ BSEC Real Bilbo, amazing tag team duo on the scene. Let's see. Customer channels were fine. Whatever. I mean, what's the story here? South African Airlines had a cyber attack, and they were able to manage to maintain business operations, cyber resiliency. Okay. What are we doing here? I mean, South Africa is getting punched in the mouth. Hey, Nerman, 17 months, blue badge. Thank you, Jerry, for the for everything and you do for the community. Thank you, Nerman. Nerman, thank you for what you do for the community. Nerman regularly beta tests the courses. He showed up at Simply CyberCon. He's always got a smile on his face. This guy, if you think I'm positive, Nerman, that dude's a positive dude. All right, so South Africa getting slapped around. We saw the telecommunication company get hit recently, the government weather service. I don't know what's going on. I will tell you this. I suspect it is a... hold on. Let me get my little tinfoil hat on. And for those who are new here, like the Rabbit Bunny and Jeremiah, you first-timers, whenever I do the tinfoil hat, and I invite you community members to drop a tinfoil hat in chat as well. Whenever I do the tinfoil hat, it's a speculative hot take on what I think versus, based on any reality or information. Okay, based on the trend of South Africa getting hit in all sorts of different ways, South Africa is part of BRICS. BRICS is Brazil, Russia. Excuse me. Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. It's like a coalition of countries that essentially kind of are different than NATO-based countries, Western philosophy countries, etc. And of all of those, right, South Africa, I feel like is kind of a smaller fish. I don't know too much about their resiliency and stuff like that, but Russia and China clearly have pretty strong cyber capabilities. So to me, this just seems kind of like, I'm going to call it terror, cyber terror type attacks, attacking the critical infrastructure, the transportation industry, the telecommunication industry, the energy industry in South Africa. I don't know what the end goal is. I don't know what the objective on action is, or the actions on objective are of what whoever's doing this to achieve. But the fact that no threat actor group has come forward, as far as I know, on any of these attacks, at least this one, I don't remember someone coming forward on the telecommunication attack. But the fact that no organization's coming forward would seem to indicate that there isn't a financial motivation for this, these attacks, which would then cause me to be like, okay, if there's no financial motivation, because there's always a motivation. What? This isn't 1994 with kids just poking and prodding systems on the internet. There's usually deliberate action. And when it's not financial, you have to ask the question, is it ideologically motivated? So someone might not be happy with South Africa and they're going after it. Or which is what I think that this is geopolitically motivated. Okay. So I think there's nation states involved. Okay. So Celsius Mobile Telecom has been hit by ransomware. Okay, so the telecommunication one does have attribution for a financially motivated cyber criminal. So I don't know, maybe threat actors are just sharing information in TLP red for ransomware threat actors about how South Africa's brittle. I don't know.
Google connects lost keys, malware, and Russian cyber spies to ClickFix. The Russian state-backed hacking group Cold River has been using a new malware called Lost Keys, all as one word, to steal files as part of an espionage attack on Western governments, journalists, think tanks, and non-governmental organizations. Cold River has been confirmed as being connected to Russia's Federal Security Service, according to security services in the United Kingdom as well as in the Five Eyes Alliance. As mentioned in Bleeping Computer, quote, the Google Threat Intelligence Group first observed lost keys being deployed selectively in January as part of the ClickFix series of social engineering attacks, where the threat actors trick victims into running malicious PowerShell scripts. Google adds, quote, the typical behavior of Cold River is to steal credentials and then use them to steal emails and contacts from the target, end quote.
All right. So Russia's FSB is no joke. And basically, it looks like this would be on brand for an FSB. It's highly selective. It's almost like spear phishing. They're targeting very specific people. Google's threat intelligence group, this is like any other of the large players in the space. Palo Alto's Unit 42, Cisco Talos, IBM X-Force, right? They all have like threat intelligence arms where they're out sharing what they're seeing basically in reality, right? In the ecosystems of the telemetry that they're getting, which is a huge value, by the way, for us as practitioners to see what's going on. This quick fix social engineering attack, guys, the TLDR, you're not likely to be targeted by this lost keys attack, but a lot of threat actors are using the same initial infection technique. And essentially, guys, they are convincing people to run PowerShell commands. Control-C, Control-V, enter, right? Educate your end users. I would strongly ask you, make a little video. Show them what it looks like. And also, guys, from a GRC perspective, I've had a lot of success with this in my life. You need to make people feel really comfortable coming to you after they screwed up, right? If you're like swinging a stick and yelling at people, then people are going to be scared, right? Like I accidentally hit Control-C, Control-V, and I see the pop-up, and I'm like, oh, jeez. Like I remember seeing that training video on this. I just did it. Oh, crap. I don't want anyone to know. I'm just going to power my computer down and go to lunch, right? You don't want people to do that. You want them to call you. You want them to reach out for help. Most people, Carl, I know we make fun of Carl. Most people want to do the right thing. Most people are interested in being part of the solution. You just have to break down the barrier to them doing that, which is another reason why I'm so huge advocate of like frequent small nibble bits of information security awareness training and sticking your face in those communications. You make it more personal. You make it, they know you, right? Oh, I know Jerry. I'll reach out to him. Right now, if you don't want those calls, that's a different problem. But you'll get calls. You'll get, hey, I accidentally just did something. I think I infected myself. You'll get calls like, hey, I know this isn't work related, but my aunt is definitely involved in some type of romance scam. What can I do? Even though that doesn't help drive cyber risk reduction for your business, you are establishing a relationship with this person, helping them out, making them aware of cyber attacks. And then next time you send something, they're going to be more inclined to consume it and share it and be part of your, kind of security advocacy at your organization. So don't sleep on this. Again, this is a very specific attack, but there's a broader attack of a similar nature going on.
Lockbit ransomware gang hacked.
What?
The Lockbit ransomware gang has suffered a data breach after its dark web affiliate panels were defaced and replaced with a message linking to a MySQL database dump, which itself appears to have occurred on April 29th. It is not known who carried out this breach or how they did it, but the defacement message, which reads, quote, "Don't do crime, crime is bad, love and kisses from Prague," end quote, matches one used in a recent breach of the dark website belonging to Everest ransomware, suggesting a possible link. This story, as reported in Bleeping Computer, continues, quote, "It is too early to tell if this additional reputational hit will be the final nail in the coffin for this ransomware gang," end quote.
All right. I doubt it. Lockbit has been damaged. This is the Dmitry Korokov, I think, or it's Dmitry something. Lockbit sup. Lockbit was definitely like, I would say like, 2023, 2024's ransomware threat actor of the year. Definitely like you didn't want to get hit by Lockbit. We heard Lockbit every day in and day out. Lockbit taking everything. And somebody hacked them, and it looks like almost like criminal on criminal action. They basically dumped their database and made it available, Crime is bad. Here you go. Dark website defaced. So whoever did this, it's kind of funny. Also, obviously, this is the inside operations of Lockbit. So this will hobble them a bit. Just look at this, man. This is how busy Lockbit is. 59,000. So basically 60,000 unique Bitcoin addresses. You got one wallet, one address, whatever, a few victims, few friends you share with. Yeah. Okay. How about 60,000? Very serious. This is their backend, not their entire infrastructure, but quite a bit of it. You can see there's 4,000 negotiation messages between victims and them. So we'll see. Again, when I talk about arresting people and taking down their infrastructure, you can deface it and stuff. This is actually kind of a next step where this is how the sausage is made. This is their entire operation. Again, this is more of an inconvenience than anything to Lockbit. They can still deploy ransomware and do all these things. I would think that this is going to slow down and potentially screw Lockbit from being a ransomware threat actor in the next couple months, right, as they recover from this. But they've been hobbled ever since law enforcement came out and announced that who they were and what. Let me see. Lockbit ransom attacks timeline. I don't know if there's gonna be a good graphic for this. Not really. It's too bad. Yeah, everything's old. Everything's old. Yeah, there's no good graphic. I'm just telling you, there's definitely been a massive decline on Lockbit attacks, but they were a very, very prolific ransomware threat actor group. Here, you can see here. Here's, basically, this is Lockbit when they got seized, Lockbit 3.0. You can see all these different, Lockbit got screwed. I guess that's the TLDR. And it's good. It's good for us as practitioners because we get a win. But guys, another one's just going to sweep in, right? We got Ransom Hub. We've got Dragon Force now coming hot. So it's... You just got to keep fighting the fight, guys. You got to man the wall, right? Ransomware threat actors are like White Walkers in Game of Thrones. You got to man the wall because they're going to keep coming. As long as there's money to be made, they're going to keep coming. All right, let's do this, y'all. I got a congestion going on here. All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed the stream today. This has been episode 874 of Simply Cyber's Daily Cyber Threat Brief, Friday, May 9th. I hope you guys had a great show. I certainly did. Thank you so very much. Make sure you take your screenshot, get that CPE. Don't go anywhere because we're actually going to be pivoting to jawjack. Wait, that's not the jawjacking. Where's the jaw? There it is. There we go. We're going to be pivoting to jawjacking. Jawjacking is an AMA style podcast where we basically hang out and answer any and all cybersecurity questions you might have. We're going to be joined by a couple practitioners today. On Fridays, we do a panel, which I'm super excited about. So don't go anywhere. Daniel Lowry, I DM'd you the link to jump in the studio. I also have a very special guest who is supposed to be here. He's not here yet. We see Daniel Lowry in chat. Very good. All right, guys, don't go anywhere. I'll handle all of the transitions and stuff. I see Jerry guy standing outside, looking in the window, wanting to get in here. I'm Jerry from Simply Cyber. See you in just a minute. Ever wonder what it takes to break into cybersecurity? Join us every weekday for Jawjacking, where industry experts answer your burning questions about the cybersecurity field. Live, unfiltered, and totally free. Let's level up together. It's time for some Jawjacking. Hey, what's up? How you doing? What's up, everybody? Welcome to Jawjacking. I am your host, Jerry Guy. You might be coming from the Daily Cyber Threat Brief hosted by that nerd, Dr. Gerald Auger. Oh my God, what a square. Talking about GRC and security awareness training. Dude, chill out. We got technical stuff to talk about. Friday's AMA jaw-jacking panel is more of a panel instead of an individual, and we've got a great panel for you today. Allow me to introduce our panel for today. As always, you may be familiar with the likes of Fleetus Poston the Third. Hey, Fleetus, how you doing?
Good morning. Happy Friday, everyone.
Fleetus, if you have questions on leadership, blue team, security, SOC type stuff, Fleetus is your man. We're also joined today by the very talented, and I love his voice, Daniel Lowry. How are you, Daniel?
What's up, Jerry? How's it going?
Oh, I love it. Daniel is excellent. Red team, hardware hacking. He does have a UART in his heart. Daniel Lowry. Thank you very much. And our very special panelist, you haven't seen him on Jawjacking before, but he's a friend of mine and he's very, very talented. Ladies and gentlemen, Eric Capuano.
Good morning, everyone. How's it going?
Awesome. Eric Capuano is a blue team expert. He's built SOCs. He's managed SOCs. He does detection engineering, like while he's waiting for his food to be delivered at restaurants on the back of the napkin. He's a stud. So we got a great panel for you today, Eric. Thanks for taking the time.
Happy to be here.
All right. I love it. So if you got questions, drop them in chat. So let's just throw it for a second to Eric Capuano. So Eric, let me ask you, we had this story in here about threat actors, the Power School story, right? Where these threat actors got paid the ransom and now they're seeing some of the victims being individually extorted. I know you deal more with like detections and preventing these stuff, and you may not be directly involved with ransomware negotiations and stuff, but would you say in your experience, is it more common to see threat actors be, I guess, honest and kind of abide by the terms of the ransom, or is it just like a free-for-all hot mess express?
It's, in my experience, it's kind of a mixed bag. So I will say, I think a lot of folks would be surprised to know how often the threat actor will actually sort of play by the rules and abide by the sort of, the rules of engagement, or at least, let's call it the contract terms. Because at the end of the day, the crazy thing about it is, even though we think of these guys as these super evil, malicious hacker type people, they're actually just running a business, right? They're running a business. And they know that part of running a successful business is doing what you say you're going to do, right? So that, you start to build a reputation of credibility, which is hilarious to say this, right? Like threat actors building credibility and trustworthiness. But they know that at the end of the day, if folks just constantly hear that no matter what you do, if you pay the ransom or if you don't, you're never going to get your data back. Well, then clearly ransomware would stop working, because everyone would know, oh, well, even if we pay the ransom, we're probably not getting our data back. So contrary to what a lot of folks would probably believe, they generally do the thing. They do what they say they're going to do, because that's the only way they keep this gravy train going, right? Is to keep the idea in people's head that you can get your data back if you pay this money. Now, of course, your mileage may vary, because there's every shape and size of threat actor out there. And sometimes it might not be that they're being malicious about not doing the thing. It may actually be that because of technical reasons, they cannot do the thing. They goofed up their encryption process, or they lost their encryption keys, but in my experience, generally, they do what they say they're going to do. However, there's side effects, there's downstream consequences, right? Even if they do what they say and they do decrypt the data, that does not change the fact that you have now made yourself a soft target, a victim, right? You have now basically given in to someone who has no care about your mental health and your physical and mental well-being. And so you've shown your underside to them by paying that ransom. And just know that, that doesn't go away. Your name on that list as a target that pays, that has insurance, that will give in the negotiation, that gets noted forever, right? And so sadly, I think it puts you in a situation where you're likely to be dealing with something similar again.
There you go. Thank you. Excellent commentary. Now, one thing that you guys may not know is that Eric Capuano, he does fancy himself a bit of a honeypot. I'm pointing at Fleetus. I should be pointing over here. A bit of a honeypot extraordinaire. And we've had conversations about honeypots and the efficacy of it. Eric, I'll start with you, but then I kind of want to go around the horn. If someone wanted to, is there any value in people kind of standing up a honeypot for training or home lab type purposes to learn and educate? What's the value? And let's talk honeypots for a minute.
So first and foremost, let me just say why honeypots are one of my favorite detection technologies of anything.
Can you quickly just explain a honeypot in 2 sentences for everybody?
Yeah. So a honeypot is a subset of a larger sort of category of controls or detection sources. We think of it in larger terms as deception, right? Deception systems. And the idea behind deception systems is, hey, if I can deploy some sort of decoy or false flag, something that looks attractive, that looks enticing, but it actually has no true risk or value. But a threat actor doesn't know that, right? And so if I can lure a threat actor into a trap that I've intentionally set, right, I may get a very early warning to threat actor activities without posing any risk to the business, right? And so deception systems cover many different types of concepts. Honeypots being one we'll talk about, but then there's also even simpler mechanisms. We call things like honey tokens, right? And there's even honey accounts and credentials and all kinds of other cool things in the deception space. Let me first just say this though. While this is super cool and easily one of my favorite sort of detection technologies of all of them, it's also not generally something that orgs should start even thinking too heavily about until they've mastered the basics, right? Like, you should not be starting your security program by deploying honeypots because you need to build the foundation first. But as you get the basics in place, like telemetry ingestion and decent detection and escalations and triage workflows and all that good stuff, then you're there, you're ready to say, let's start getting some deception technologies out there. So honeypots specifically. So I love honeypots because what that enables me to do is deploy not just some basic token like a file or something in my environment, but deploy an actual sort of system of sorts, right? Whether I want that to look like an Active Directory domain controller or a file server or any I can make it look like a Synology NAS, whatever I want it to be, and I can deploy that. And I can put it somewhere central or core on my network, meaning anyone can reach it, like it's accessible from any part of my network. So if somebody just starts running port scans to do some enumeration, to do some discovery, they're gonna touch that honeypot. And then when they run the port scan and they see, ooh, there's this really juicy file server on Windows Server 2012, so maybe there's some vulnerabilities, but I'm just gonna go and see if I can get into this file server and see what's on it. What they do not know is that it's not even a real file server. It looks real, but when they connect into it, because it's a honeypot, I know that simply connecting to it is not normal because nobody in the organization knows about this system because it's not real. So if somebody simply connects to it, that's all the signal I need, right? And now I know there's someone in my network, even if they're on a system that I don't have visibility over, which is a big problem for most orgs, right? Is you might deploy your antivirus and your EDR everywhere, but the truth is there's no such thing as everywhere, right? There will always be systems you just simply don't have visibility over. It could be some laptop on the Wi-Fi in a parking lot or whatever. So if that person's scanning my network looking for juicy targets, well, they're going to find a juicy target because I put one there for them to find. And now I know that someone's here. And one of my favorite things about all of this, other than the fact that it's super cool, but one of my favorite things about it is, honeypots generally, when deployed correctly, with good strategy, are going to deliver the highest signal to noise ratio of any other detection technology that you could deploy. Right? Your SIEM and your antivirus and all these other things are notoriously bad at just noise. Oh, one signal. Okay. Honeypots, generally it's the opposite. It's quiet until something happens. And so that's one of my favorite things about it.
Fleetus, what is your experience with honeypots?
So Eric stole my thunder here, but we'll add a little more to it. I've actually had some luck about finding insiders with honeypots as they're poking around looking for stuff. They're about to give notice. They've been put on reprimand. So everything Eric said, but also it's also intriguing to see who in your network is also just poking around for the fun of poking around, so that you have HR issues, you have disgruntled employees, or you just have the salesperson who's like, can I find out information about my peers? So they're looking for their recent invoices or their pays or their bonuses. And it gives you the opportunity to use an HR case, not just a cyber case against your employees of who's poking around the network. Because we always tell people least privilege, but we don't do least privilege very well. Most financial institutions, if you ever look at it, on day one, you probably have access, according to the last study, to over 1,000 sensitive files on day one. You hadn't even done your training yet, and you can access over 1,000 files just because least privilege wasn't stood up correctly.
Yeah, give him the same access as Eric Capuano. He's going to be helping Eric, and like Eric's been at the company 20 years and like has access to everything. Hey, really quick, this is all awesome conversation. I do want to. I love the chat. The chat's been popping. People are pointing this out. I do want to share with people a couple things really quickly. One, like Things Canary is a great, like, I love this company, okay? I love this company. They do one thing and they do it incredibly well. And I'm almost positive you can get like 1 or 2 tokens without any cost, right?
Oh, Jerry, it's even better than that, man. Unless something's changed, which I highly doubt it has, you can use unlimited Canary tokens for free. And this is one of my favorite things about Things. I mean, I've got 100 things that I love about Things. But one of my favorite things about them is not only is their product the best in the industry, hands down, I will fight that fight to the end, but they're so selfless in what they give to the community for free. And the Canary tokens, sorry, it's my alarm. The Canary tokens, which are basically like the simpler deception systems like files and hyperlinks and things like that, anybody, anywhere can go and generate as many of those as they want for free at canary.tools and deploy them immediately in your environment. And you don't have to host any infrastructure. You don't have to stand up some server somewhere. It just works, right? And I love that. And what's so cool is that even though that is a 100% free service that's fundamentally unlimited, they treat it like it's a paid product in terms of uptime and keeping that thing up and running. And it just blows me away. That's just such a selfless and altruistic thing. You don't see many security companies kind of behaving like that. So So Things Canary is just incredible for all the reasons.
And to add one more thing to Eric before we move on, like these are great places to hide when you want to see who's using access to Eric's point on a non-corporate device. So if I put something like my Google Drive or an external SharePoint and you want to see who's just poking around, yes, we know that it's not always easy to get attestation, but if you see enough poking around, you know that someone's at least trying to target you, or you have an opportunistic attack that you need to go hard in your environment. So sometimes putting stuff on the edge, which used to be a DMZ, now the edge is your external SharePoint, your Google Drives, or things that people can accidentally just say anyone with link, and you can put this with anyone with link. So if they enumerate your environment, you know that they've enumerated your environment.
Heck yeah. So let me just do this really quickly. So this is Things Canary. I'm going to drop a link in chat. Again, love this company. I like desperately wanted a shirt from them. They don't sell merch. I like messaged them. I'm like, how do I buy a shirt? And they just like sent me like a gift bag. So like I have like, stuff. Another thing really quickly to share with everybody. This is super timely. John Strand actually has this active defense cyber deception course, which is all the things Eric just talked about, like the bigger picture things and how honeypots are one piece of that. This course you can take for free. I want to say it's in June 16th through the 19th. I've taken this course. I have a video on my channel about this course. This course is phenomenal, and he covers honey tokens and honeypots and honey accounts and all those things. So I'll drop a link in chat for that too. If you're interested in what we're talking about, it's definitely cool. We did have a super chat come in. Let me address that really quickly from my friend Nerman. You're going to love this one, Eric Capuano. So Nerman said, and Nerman, thanks for the super chat. Hello, Eric. I'm continuing to work through the SOC Analyst Lab and find it exceptionally well-structured and insightful. Thank you for providing such a valuable learning resource. So, Eric, people in the community loving the work you're doing with that SOC Lab.
That's so awesome to hear. Thank you for sharing that. I mean, that's maybe one of my favorite contributions to date, and simply because of the reach and the impact that it's had. I've had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people go through that training, and many reaching out to me on LinkedIn and otherwise saying this helped me land my first job, and like that means I'm doing the thing that I intended to do with that, which is lower the barrier of entry to get more people into InfoSec, because we need help. And the gatekeeping and all the other nonsense that we used to see a lot of, like I'm not for it. So I love that people are getting value out of that, and thank you, Jerry, for making it more widely known. If it wasn't for you, it'd probably be a lot smaller impact than it is today.
So really quick, if you guys are interested, this is the lab that Nerman is talking about. Eric has expanded upon it and made it exceptional. I'll drop a link in chat. This literally takes you from zero to writing detections and having a full-blown environment, SIM alerts, and it's just a wicked cool super lab, and it's incredibly affordable. So here, I'm gonna drop a link to that in chat as well. So go check that out. It's at digitaldefenseinstitute.com. Let's throw it to Daniel Lowry. Daniel Lowry looks like he's in desperate need of a Monster Energy drink. How you doing,
I thought
Daniel?
Justin said that. I was like, yes. It's almost time for the morning pour, definitely.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. And if you guys don't know, this guy right here, Daniel Lowry, does a very similar AMA on Fridays that I'm going to throw to at the top of the hour. And he crushes it, and he crushes Monster Energy drink. All right, so we got some pin questions in here. TJ Artist wants to know, he got the CPTS from Hack the Box, which is good hands-on training, but jobs are asking for OSCP level. This is a pen testing cert. OSCP is considered kind of like the gold ticket in the pen testing circles. He doesn't have $1,200 though, and he's learning the knowledge required. What can he do? So what do you suggest, Daniel Lowry?
So they're looking for OSCP level. What does that mean, right? First, you got to decipher that code of, okay, I don't have $1,200 to go get the OSCP. Could you even pass the OSCP if you did have the money? I guess is a good question, because if the level is indication of the certification, then there are other ways in which you can, like I like to say, show your work that you can hit that level of expertise without having the OSCP in your hand. So what kind of stuff have you done that you could put on your resume that is actual experience that could prove that level of expertise? And just because a organization has OSCP on their job post, that is not necessarily a fact, like a hard and fast, like this is a rule. If you don't have OSCP, sometimes it is, but a lot of times it's not. They're just saying this is the kind of level that we're looking for. If you have that, that's an easy button for us to say, cool. We kind of get the idea of what it takes to get an OSCP. And if you have that, then that's exactly what we're looking for. But if you don't have that, that doesn't mean you don't have that knowledge. It doesn't mean you have those skills. So you still apply and put those skills on your resume to say, oh, I have that level of skills. I just don't have that cert. And maybe other certs kind of help pad your way up to that and go, yeah, I don't have the OSCP, but I do have this Hack the Box cert. Maybe I've got, a couple of CompTIA certs. Maybe I got this, that, and the other. And you say, yeah, I've got certs. I just don't have that one. And here's the work experience that I have. And here's my hands-on experience. Here's my lab experience. Here's my GitHub. Here's my, all the stuff that I'm building to kind of show that, yes, I have that experience. I just don't have that cert. And a lot of companies and organizations nowadays, at least from my experience, what I'm seeing on job posts and everything, because I like to stay on top of that. I browse Indeed and Monster from time to time to see what is still relevant. What are people looking for? And it's more like OSCP type or comparable security certifications to OSCP to blah, blah, blah. So there's a lot of competition. And if you got something from Hack the Box, honestly, that is some no joke stuff right there. Hack the Box does not play around. They are very well. If you go do an easy box on Hack the Box for fun, and you typically go, I do not know what I'm doing. Apparently, I have no skill. I am skillless, because if this is easy, then I suck. Like, they could really deflate your ego really quickly. But then you feel really good when you do complete a challenge that they have, or walk through some of their academy stuff. It's really great. So I would not look down my nose at anything that you had from Hack the Box, and I doubt anybody that's in the know would either, right? Because they're highly regarded and they are respected because of the difficulty that they put behind their challenges and the stuff that they do. They're very active in the community and a good resource. Like people respect them. So I would just get my butt out there and start showing my work. I would be building tools. I would be doing labs. I would be doing a lot of, because ultimately the great things that come out of things like PNPT and the Hack the Box certs and the Try Hack Me stuff and OSCP specifically, or any offensive security stuff, is that you write a report, and the report is really the moneymaker, right? That's what you're really. Yes, I learned a bunch of hacking things and I learned a bunch of pen testing things, but if you didn't learn to put that into a report that can be easily digested by your client, then that's really the skill they want to see, because they can skill you up. If you said, yeah, I've got some experience doing web app pen testing and this, that, and the other, and you put that on your resume, but my real skill is the fact that I can put that into a report. I have great written communication skills. I'm really good at doing debriefs. I would be phenomenal at standing before your clients and having them understand what it is that we just did for them and the value of it and where their weaknesses are, and giving them some guidance on where to go to fix that stuff. That is worth way more than any other skill that you could bring to the table. Because it's funny, we were talking about Red Canary. I think we mentioned Red Canary not too long ago. I was talking with them one time and I said, what are you looking for in a pen tester? And they said, really, skills is something that we can get you up to speed on. We're looking for someone like that has the ability to talk with clients, that has the ability to write a report that doesn't look like they put it on the back of a Denny's placemat with a crayon, right? And at that time, it was a big problem. We have kind of addressed that problem in the industry a lot because we've been talking about it a lot. And therefore, and now job posts are starting to go, I want to see good written communication skills. I want to see good oral communication skills. What are your soft skills like? What are you doing to raise the bar, as it were, for all the other people? How are you standing above head and shoulders when it comes to the people around you that are applying for the same job, right? So that's a great way, is to do write-ups as if, so let's say you go do a Hack the Box challenge. Write it up as if they were your client, right? And start like soup to nuts. Do ROE, do scoping, do the whole 9 yards, and then final report. Put that out there on a Medium post, or just if you have your own blog, heck, whatever. I don't care. Free blog. What is it? I'm blanking out on it now. But do like a Wix thing. Who cares, right? Put it out there. Put it in GitHub. Make a Git book out of it. Who cares, right? As long as it's out there and you make it available, you can show. You go, oh yeah, we'll take a look. Here's a sample report, and then you can just grab those PDFs and say, I can attach that to my resume if you want to see an example of what I do, of what I'm talking about. I remember someone was looking for a job. They had applied for a job with a company. They didn't have any certs, right? But they had all this skill and experience. They applied for the company, and the company wrote them back and said, I'm really looking for a senior right now. I almost hired you, even though you don't have any work experience and you don't have any certs, because I could see you knew what you were doing when it came to the technical skills, but you were weak on report writing. You didn't have anything that was highlighting your ability to write reports and talk to clients. And I need someone that can drop right in. And that's what they told us. That was the only reason they didn't hire them.
That's right. Yeah. Communication as a skill set is, people think because they can speak English or they can write an email, they have communication skills. And it really is an art form. Great question. And great answer, Daniel. Like, hopefully that's useful for everybody. You can take advantage of that. I want to quickly point out a super chat really quickly. Brews and Hacks, local Simply Cyber community member. We do have a local ambassadors program in locations across the country. There is a meetup at Vanish Brewery in Leesburg on May 10th. So tomorrow, 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. If you'd like to go meet up, if you're in that Washington, Baltimore, DC, Maryland, Virginia area, go check it out. And see what's up. Really quick, Christy had a question, Eric Capuano. Basically, Log4j was a hot mess back in 2021. She says, is it safe to use it now? I'd almost ask the question this way. Are you seeing any kind of activity, threat actor activity, or anything, Eric, around Log4j? Or, can her crew use it?
In the name of, or in the style of Obi-Wan, that's a name I haven't heard in a long time. So Log4j is one of a bajillion, software dependency components that at some point in time had a pretty nasty bug with it. Right now, Log4j, obviously was a bit more serious than many others, but now it's got the stigma. It's got like this association with it. Now, that said, just like any other, critical bug or issue, almost always, right, there's a fix, there's a patch, there's a remediation that takes place. Now, the difficulty there is how long does it take for that fix to propagate to all the various different softwares that include that component. And so generally we do see a long dwell time, or not a dwell time, misusing that term, but like a long tail to like the true fix being propagated and kind of developing that herd immunity, right? So that said, I can't say with certainty that Log4j is not still a problem somewhere. I'm sure that it is, but no, it's not something I'm hearing much about. But that could just be my limited visibility into that particular area. But no, I don't regularly hear about, or certainly do not deal with Log4j specific issues, because that was one of those ones that just got so much publicity and so much notoriety that you couldn't miss it. Right? Like every company everywhere was, asking their technical folks, are we using this and where? And so generally, I think that one got pretty well handled. But that's all I've got on that. I'm curious if the other guys on the panel have a differing experience.
I mean, not only less of a concern, but Fleetus, you're actually actively using Log4j, yeah?
So previously, we had switched to using Log4j appender to push logs from our Java apps to our SIM. So we actually use the appender. So it's still, to Eric's point, in use. The issue is the version that people were using and the components that they were using. So it's like any software, it can be used maliciously. That's the purpose of software. Like at some point, you can use it in a way that the developer did not intend it to be used. That's what makes it malicious. Every app is both malicious and clean at the exact same time. So people have to realize that when you're going, it's still okay. Java is still use. So if you're a Java-based shop, Log4j is a component that you will likely utilize or will continue to utilize, just like financial institutes continue to use the mainframe. They can't get off the mainframe.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's a whole thing. Here's a very specific question. I love this one. Eric, what's a good training path to get into threat hunting? Or if you're Wade Wells, he hates this term, but people are trying to push thrunting onto him as like his he's a thrunted engineer. What's you see the question?
Yeah. Good path to get into threat hunting. Okay. Well, I'm going to answer this because I love this question, but then sadly I'm going to have to hop after that, Jerry. So thank you for having me on.
And thank you, Eric Capuano. Everybody, Eric Capuano, go just consume all his things. He's excellent.
Thank you, Jerry. I appreciate that. So, all right, a good training path to get into threat hunting. Well, let me just first say this. Threat hunting is not generally any type of entry level sort of position or role, okay? Only because to be an effective threat hunter, there's a lot of foundational knowledge that you need to be able to stand on to not waste just countless hours trying to deconflict like what it is that you're looking for and what's normal and what's bad, right? And so just know that like if you're pursuing a path into threat hunting, generally I would not try to skip conventional entry level roles like SOC analyst roles and things like that, because that that experience that you're going to get there is going to be invaluable in helping you be an effective threat hunter. But assuming you do have, some basic kind of SOC analyst skills, maybe some detection engineering, maybe a little bit of incident response, well, then you're pretty well positioned then to start pursuing threat hunting. And no, I refuse to use the term thrunting. I think it just doesn't land on the ears very well. But so once you've developed a pretty solid baseline of skills, and you have spent enough time looking at your most average, most common, enterprise systems, your Windows systems, your Linux servers and things like that, that's when you kind of have a decent grasp on the skills that are necessary to threat hunt and not get lost in a sea of noise, because that's where you're heading, right? Because when you're threat hunting, you're interrogating at scale, or you're doing historical analysis at scale, which means you're immediately starting with the largest data set imaginable, right? Months worth of historical data. And so if you're not super well tuned into being able to quickly filter out the things that are benign and normal, then you're immediately going to drown. But training paths, that's a tricky one, because there's so many approaches and there's so many mindsets involved in threat hunting. But I will say, shameless plug. So one of my courses that I make available on demand is specific to threat hunting, with some emphasis on incident response and even digital forensics. But threat hunting is kind of the key tenet of it. But the tool of choice that I use in that training is Velociraptor, because it is phenomenal at threat hunting. Whatever your focus is, whatever operating systems you're hunting against, what I love most about Velociraptor for this is, one, it's free, so say no more. But two, it is the most effective way to hunt, because it's not just me running historical queries against Splunk or Elastic, which I hate to tell you this, but that's a limited view into what's really happening in your environment. That's just based on historical telemetry of things that actually happened, but only the things that were being ingested by that platform. Whereas with a tool like Velociraptor, which is running on your endpoints, I can do an instant interrogation of the system and ask key questions that may and are likely not available to me in my SIEM, right? So I can say, is this registry key present or not, right? Is this directory on the file system present or not, right? That's not stuff that's always able to be answered in your SIEM. So I'm a fan of the live real-time interrogation method for hunting, because it just reaches so much further. And not to mention, if I'm threat hunting and I find threats, right, which obviously is one of the very possible outcomes, I'd like the ability to immediately transition to incident response mode. And by using an active agent like Velociraptor, I'm ready to go. The same agent I'm using to hunt is also the same agent I can use to eradicate and remediate, right? And kind of clean up whatever it is that I find. So I'll plug that training. And just before I go, know that I'm making available a discount code to Jerry for his Simply Cyber community. So if anyone in this community wants to take that training, I'd love to give you a discount on that, just simply for being a member of Jerry's awesome community. So I'll leave you with that, and I'll get you that code there, Jerry.
Yeah, thanks, Eric. Please send that over. And I dropped a link to this class. You can take it on demand. You can also take it live with Eric and Whitney at Blue Team Summit, August 28th and 29th. So choose your own adventure. You can get it directly from him, or you can get it on demand and get that discount from Eric. Just before you go, Eric, thank you very much for being here. And if you're not busy later, Eric, I want you and the entire community to know that I'm going to be abusing myself. Me, Josh Mason, and Wade Wells at 2 p.m. today are going to be doing the Hot Ones Challenge. We're going to do 10 different increasingly spicy nuggets or whatever while trying to have a serious conversation. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be crying. So if you're interested in watching people, injure themselves, come on down. It'll be fun. Thank you, Eric. Have a great one, man.
I got one word for you, Jerry.
Yeah, go ahead. Drop that.
Firea.
Fiery. Oh my God. Yeah, that sounds accurate. I've been eating bananas all week. I'm going to pound a couple bananas. I think it's all within the scope of the rules to be able to eat bananas prior. We'll see. I'm not super, I'm still confused because we're going to toss the nuggets. I thought we were going to dip and just light abuse ourselves. This is full toss. Also, the 10th one is 3 million Scovilles and it has the Guinness Book of World Records. I'm like, I think I might tap out on 9. Okay, and then
I'm
people are
good.
like, "Whoa, well, if you're gonna do 9, why not do 10?" So we'll see. We'll see. I'm gonna do it in my kitchen. It's gonna be a whole new set. We'll see what's happening.
Your sweat is gonna burn. It's gonna be that bad.
I know it's gonna be gross. All right, so let's keep the questions coming. That, by the way, that was Eric Capuano who just joined us. Great guy. Let's see. What is it? Oh, wait, hold on. For David, question. I love hacking, yet I don't think I will be able to work in the field. So just working on building skills. How can I get into vulnerability management? Well, I'll take this one if it's okay, since I feel like vulnerability management is a GRC skill. Hey, GRC. Let me tell you. As far as vulnerability management goes, number one, you get a scanner, right? That's like the first step. Like you can get Nessus, and I think they give you like 10 free IP addresses to get in to scan, so you could scan your home network. Get a feel for like what these things look like. There's like Rapid7, Qualys, Nessus. There's OpenVAS by Greenbone, which is like whatever. It's free open source, but no one uses it that I know of professionally. Start using those tools, start getting familiar with what it looks like. That's step 1. Okay. A lot of people think that that's like step 5. It's not, it's step 1. Then you need to actually understand 2 things. Okay. Number 1, how are you reporting? Okay. Like what are you reporting on? Like, is there trend data? Like you closed X amount of vulnerabilities this month. Are you reporting how many criticals you have or a decline? Like it's a very fluid because new vulnerabilities are constantly showing up. So you can't just like eliminate them all and consider it like victory. Like it's you will become apathetic, Taekwon Gong, just to make you aware. I'm sorry, but it's hard. It's hard emotionally working in vulnerability management. So communicating that way. And then 2, like actually working through and patching your stuff. Okay. So a lot of times it'll depend on IT to do the patching. Like you can't go in and patch someone's server. Like you're not authorized to do that. So you have to understand, like go patch your own things and feel the pain of like, oh, this patch didn't take or didn't reboot or some function broke afterwards. This is going to increase your level of empathy and understanding of what you're asking IT to do. And then when you go to job interviews and you're talking about vulnerability management, you're not just spitting facts that came out of a textbook or something. Like you're appreciating and understanding the reality that not all the things can get patched. Sometimes you don't need to patch things. Sometimes you'll come up with alternative solutions like sticking a Raspberry Pi firewall in between the gross asset you can't patch and the rest of the network and putting a very explicit ACL in there that only this IP address can come in and only on these times or whatever. Like that's how you get into vulnerability management. If you say half the things I just said and you do those things and you talk about that in an entry-level job interview, you'll probably leave with the job because you're doing all of the things. Okay. Again, I can't promise you a job, but that's the deal. Fleetish, I saw a lot of nodding. Any thoughts around this?
I think a lot of what Daniel said earlier when we were talking about pen testing applies to threat and vulnerability management. Can you research and share in writing what is the vulnerability? I know you in this community has used EPSS recently. Can you articulate what the vulnerability is? Because all of us can run a tool, but a tool criticality means nothing if you don't know the environment in which you're working in. Because let's just say I have a 10 like you talked this morning, but if that 10 is so deep in my network and there's 4 firewalls, ACLs, I've got load balancers, and you can't reach it, it's not a critical per se. And when I say per se, it's not a critical because it's very hard to get to. So you can risk rate it down. The other thing is, for your GRC point, speak risk awareness. Like what is your risk avoidance? What is your risk acceptance? What is your risk appetite? What does your risk register say? Does this align with a risk register item? If it doesn't, maybe it needs to be put on there. And then during your next quarterly risk advisory board meeting, you have the TVM analyst present. Give them the public speaking opportunity, not just the GRC manager or the SOC manager or the threat and vulnerability manager or offensive leader, whoever you roll up under. Let the IC, the individual contributor, have the ability to tell the story about how they did the analysis and determine, we'll pick on Log4j. This is what I have to do to fix the 2021 Log4j vulnerability. This is the amount of resources, money, time, energy, etc.
Perfect. I love it. Thank you, Fleetus. Daniel.
Jerry. Oh, yeah, go ahead. I was going to tell you. Go ahead. Quickly.
No, I mean, do you have a follow-up or do you got to go?
Well, I got to go. It's about that time. I got to start setting up for
Oh, this guy's got to go run down to
Gi- Give me. I'll
7-Eleven
give you a
and grab
quick. I'll
Monster.
give you a 1 minute hot take on whatever question you had. Go for it.
All right, here we go. All right, he's doing hack the box Python for cyber course. Do you think do you think this is a good path for breaking in as in a SOC role, since we already established threat hunting is not really an entry level role?
Let's see. I've completed my degree in security. Plus, next steps are hack the box, CSDA, and Python for security. Yeah, I mean, both of those skills are going to be really good for you, especially the Python stuff, because like everything is through automation nowadays. You're going to be using like agentic AI in a lot of ways, and Python can be very helpful for working with that kind of stuff. So yes. The quick answer is yes. The skills will help you, especially relevant ones like those.
So, all right, this guy right here, it's 9:43. He only needs 15 minutes to get started. So let's just take a minute and talk about Daniel Lowry. This guy, he does an AMA every Friday at 10 a.m. It's called, it's very on the nose. It's Daniel Lowry in IRL, right? In real life, as the kids say. I recently learned the word Delulu. I don't know what that means. So I don't know if his show is Delulu. It's a very... It's a very Gen Alpha. I don't know. I don't even know why I said it. But come check it out. What are you talking about today, Daniel? Anything specific?
Yeah. Well, I mean, typically we take stuff from the chat a lot. It's very much conversational, where I'm kind of conversing with the chat room a lot. So questions and comments and just interesting topics many times come from there. A lot of times I'll start the show with an idea that we're going to talk about this today, and we do not talk about that at all because the chat just takes over. And it was worth it because there's always good stuff coming from my chat room. So definitely people jump into the chat on that. And if you got questions or comments and just interesting stuff you want to talk about, we could totally go down that road. In my mind today, though, I want to talk a bit about, I'm doing a Python series. So we might get into that and what some of the projects people are working on, how they're skilling up and what they can do to be helping themselves, kind of to the person's questions here about what skills are good for me. I think Python's a good one. And I also want to kind of talk a little bit on AI, and a little teaser for that. Is AI abstracting knowledge away from us too much? Where not that it's taking our jobs or anything, but the fact that like, I just don't know how this works anymore. I'm 3 or 4 generations deep into AI, where AI is doing stuff and we just take stuff for granted. Is that going to be a problem now that I don't need to understand it? And because I don't now, what if AI doesn't work for me all of a sudden? Could I then go back and still do that work? Is that going to be an issue? I don't know. I thought that'd be a fun topic of conversation.
Yeah, that is a good one. I mean, isn't the movie WALL-E like basically
Yes.
supposed to be that, where people are just like fat and floating and don't know anything?
Right. They don't know anything about anything because the machines have just made their lives so comfortable that they don't need to do anything. They couldn't make toast if they had to.
So
Yeah,
a little plug on that one real quick. Daniel and I will talk about that on May 21st when I talk about AI and human-centric security on an Anticast, if you want to come have some conversations about that.
Oh my God.
You know, it's like these things all work together, Fleetus. That's really weird, isn't it?
I love it. So if you like this guy and you want to hear him talk about AI,
Shall we play a game?
then May 21st, Anticast. I'm sure we'll be dropping links all over the place. Daniel, thanks for being here today. We're going to raid you. I'm such a terrible streamer where like I announce and tell the person that we're going to raid. I never raid without asking. I know you've given me a blanket approval, so I don't mind doing it to you. But yeah, we'll be over there in 15 minutes to destroy your stream.
Love it. Can't wait. It'll be fun.
All right. Very cool.
I'll see you there, guys.
Later. That was Daniel Lowry from many, many places, but he'll be streaming IRL here in a hot minute. Let me take half the screen. It's like Fleetus is kind of pushing me over. We're going to do half the screen here. So it's me and Fleetus posting the third. A lot of great questions coming in. Let me pull them up as they come in here, Fleetus. AB says, working on a vulnerability management course. I am, AB, this course is coming for people who are looking to get into vulnerability management. This is back on track, and we are actively working this. I'm expecting to, I would like to deliver this before DEF CON. Okay, so that's where you can get from that. Kathy Chambers, I saw a job listing for GRC compliance director at FSU and asked for a JD, huh? I thought it was interesting. Is that normal to see for director roles? No. So a JD, for those who don't know, is like basically a law degree. You can have a law degree and not be a lawyer, right? You don't have to take the bar, which is what you need to take and pass in order to practice law legally in the United States. But a JD is just a law degree. To me, so I'll give my hot take on this, and then Fleetus, we can play around with this one. And then let's talk about AI and generationals and, tease your May 21st Anticast. GRC compliance director, this is a senior person in the GRC space. Because it is at FSU, there's definitely, committees and FERPA and probably research being done. And they want someone who's making sure that everybody's following the rules and setting tone and stuff like that. The JD, to me, what is happening here is this school, FSU, is trying to get more value and not pay for it. That's what they're trying to get. They're trying to get someone who's got a law background so they can bring them in on legal things and not pay for general counsel. If I had to guess, okay, I don't know FSU from a hole in the wall. I don't know who opened that rec, but to me, it's not unprecedented to have JDs and lawyers work in InfoSec. It's uncommon, and it's certainly not a requirement for this role. Fleetus, what do you think?
Yeah, so I agree with you completely. I think the biggest thing with JDs is it was a hot minute a few years ago. Everyone's like, hey, we need to know cyber law. None of our attorneys know cyber law. Go get your JD because you know cyber, and we need a law. So I think, to your point, they're wanting someone who can look at it from a different perspective. We know that in our field that perspectives matter, and that's why we have different disciplines, different committees, GRC, SecOps, offensive security. Everyone's looking at it from their lens and their perspective. I do agree with you. I think there's a conflict of interest between the GRC compliance officer and a legal person being the same person. So I would be very worried to be the JD on a GRC case myself. I would want a second opinion, and I would prefer to have legal counsel because I've sent many things from a GRC point of view back to legal counsel because I want a practicing attorney to tell me this is because just because you have your JD doesn't mean you stay abreast of the current regulatory changes that's happened in the last 3 weeks, 6 weeks, 1 year, 2 years, and you don't have precedent of previous cases. You're probably still not looking up cases. And as we know, attorneys who use AI to find cases can easily get an hallucinated case that doesn't exist. And I don't want people to feel like they're comfortable using the tools that Daniel was just talking about to complement and or replace general knowledge.
Night Angel says, what time is that Anticast? Give us a little, 30 seconds on what this Anticast is, and I'll try to pull it up.
So it's using AI in a human-centric way. So it's going back to the point of we still matter. We need to continue to use AI as a tool in our toolbox. As you probably heard me before, many of others have said, I use AI as an intern. What I mean by that is they're eager to tell me something. They may have no context of what they're telling me. They may not know what they're talking about, but they're eager to tell me. So I treat generative AI as an intern. I ask it questions to get a perspective, knowing that I may not agree with what it says. So I want to take the human and put it back into an AI-driven cybersecurity because more and more of our tools are putting machine learning and agentic AI. Agentic AI means I'm allowing the AI to make decisions for me. There's legal requirements around how do we do that? Should we do that? Should we allow an AI learning model, an LLM, a large language model, to make decisions that Jerry and I should be making at the end of the day as the SME, the subject matter expert? Or do we allow it to pretend to know what it's talking about and sell you a car for $1, which has happened? So
there you go. Perfect. And I've dropped a link in chat. The human factor in AI-driven security. What time is this at?
Banter's at 11. I think the podcast is at noon. Yeah. And then goes to 1.
Yeah. So they do pre-show banter. I wish if I had staff or something, we'd probably do that. Because what they do is they film it and then they cut the banter out and post it as a produced video. I just don't have cycles to do that. But the pre-show banter on Anticast is phenomenal. I have done Anticasts. I just did one a couple weeks ago. And I can say from firsthand experience, they are fun. And Fleetus, you're going to do wonderful and definitely deliver value to the community, which is really our goal, right? Phil Stafford, hold on one second. That's actually not a question for us. That's a conversation Phil's having with people in chat right now. So Fleetus, you've got a channel, right? And you recently got some free time. We've been very open with the community about your recent reduction workforce, situation. Are you doing more on the YouTube side now that you've got some time?
To be honest, I'm actually recording less. I feel like when I was doing my work, I was able to put it into the regiment of what I was doing. So I'm not as far ahead as I was. So I'm behind on getting my material stacked up to release. Still releasing my presentations on Monday, still putting out my daily food for thoughts Monday through Friday. And then I have a mini little podcast that I'm doing with Sipping for Cyber on Saturday. So those are about 3 to 5 minute videos. So I extend my shorts to a little bit longer to see how cyber relates to your weekends, because a lot of us who are practitioners, we believe we work Monday through Friday. You all know you don't, but on the weekend you do slow down. You generally get up a little later, you get your cup of coffee, you'll meditate, you'll read, but cyber's still on your mind. And even if it's not on your mind, it should be on your mind. So that's what I've been doing for the last 2 months with that Saturday morning briefing. I post it early in the morning, so it's like the first or second thing you can look at, similar to my food for thoughts, so that it allows you to meditate and to think and reflect on how's the attacker going to bother me on a Saturday and Sunday. Because I've alluded in many talks that security starts from the time you wake up to the time you go to sleep. Well, the threat actor is still working while you're sleeping. So when you wake up, you could have a push notification, a phishing email, a new app that's being tried to be installed that's asking for rights you shouldn't do. So I walk through how to do spring cleaning, clean up your apps, clean up your permissions. How do you clean up your inbox safely on the weekend when you have a fresh mind? So it's stuff like that you can do outside of business hours to reflect. And then, as you can see, that one right there, this one, several friends asked me to do this. It's breaking into cyber as a non-traditional hire. I've thought about this numerous times. We've talked about it in this channel. How do you get in? Why do you get in? And what is the success stories of getting in? So we've talked numerous times. I've helped people who are a car mechanic, who's a pool cleaner, who's a teacher, get into different roles because you have transferable skills. So this talk right here goes through that. And it was more just to give to a local community who wanted something material that they could use, a supplemental for their community college. And then I think I'll probably give it to App State again. As you guys can see, I'm sharing my love and alumni for App. And you probably called it earlier. Eric and Whitney, I know Whitney. Champion. She was, we graduated from Appalachian together back, and I won't even tell you when we graduated, but we graduated from many moons together. So I've known Whitney and Eric for years. So it was an honor to have them both on here this morning. So, and to take their class. So I'll give you a shameless plug. Take both of their materials. If they're ever speaking, go find either one of them.
That's cool. I didn't know you had you were in that circle. Guys, cyber is a small community. I'm telling you, it's great, but it is kind of funny how people,
I've known Whitney, and I'll go ahead and date it 20 years now. I've known Whitney for 20 years. So
damn, that's there you go. Yeah, I met Whitney in 2009. So you got me beat on that one. Congratulations, dude. That's cool. And go App State, right? Like the Michigan game, right? I mean, that's hang that banner. Really quickly, Fleetus is talking about doing his YouTube channel. Speaking of shameless plugs, I'm definitely going to do one myself right now. If you guys didn't know, the PBCC course, I do a terrible job of promoting this, but I do this course live 3 times a year. June 2nd through 5th is when we're doing it this year. It's 11 a.m. to 3 p.m., very similar to Antisyphon's live trainings, 4 days, 4 hours a day. And basically it says branding yourself in a career in cyber, but effectively what I do is I teach you how to find stuff that you're super passionate about and then be able to make content, whether it's either video content or text content or whatever, and basically amplify yourself. That way, when you get laid off or you don't like your boss because it's toxic or whatever, you don't have to start that day trying to pivot. You can already build a lot of capital and basically be the CEO of you. Like, this is not really a cyber, this is cyber adjacent, but this is like a career thing. And I'm telling you that I'm super passionate about it simply because I know how valuable it can be. Even Fleetus, does this guy look worried that he got a reduction in workforce? No, because he knows he's like set up, right? So, anyways, if you're interested, I'll drop a link to that in chat, but I'm always super excited about it and always forget to tell people about it. All right. I see Wade Wells woke up. San Diego's own is in the house. I thought you were going to promote your fireside chat today. Yeah, we already did that, but let's do it again. What time is it? We got to go to Daniel Lowry in just a hot minute. But Fleetus, give me 30 seconds on this insanity that I'm about to do today with Wade Wells and Josh Mason.
Oh, I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to go pop some popcorn. I'm going to sit here. I'm going to laugh. I'm probably going to send some nice little DMs to all three of you, giving you words of encouragement and then laughing at you at the exact same time. I will admit I've done this once. I said I will never do it again. So kudos to you. Good luck. Godspeed.
Oh, there you go. There you go. All right. So Fleetus has sat in the seat, as it were, and done this challenge. We're going to be doing hot ones, a very spicy challenge. Later today at 2 p.m. Eastern time, as Justin Gold put in chat. This might be one of those ones where you want to attend live. Depending on what happens, we may not make this publicly available after the stream ends. We might pull it down. So this is something you should be there in person. And I feel like chat is going to be the one collaborating and enjoying the living crap out of it, where me, Wade, and Josh are basically just monkeys dancing for you, and seeing what happens. Like I said, I'm going to be setting this up in my my kitchen. I'm going to be wearing gloves. I'm going to be wrapping my kitchen like I'm going to commit a murder in there, like a la American Psycho. And we'll see. And my 13-year-old's going to come home right square in the middle of it. So we'll see what happens with that. I love it. So Fleetus, you got the AI thing coming up. You've got your content you're making less of. Anything else you want to share with the community, or just, general, advice or whatever?
Yeah. So continue to get out. The ref hasn't slowed me down. I'm still meeting with people, still mentoring, still giving back. Recorded a podcast for one of your new sessions with James. So I'm excited for that to be released later this summer. As always, stay active, both physically, emotionally, spiritually, for those who are aware, to stay fresh. It's easy to burn yourself out. You will burn yourself out at some point, but it's how you recover. It's not how you fall. It's how you get up. So just remember, you've got a support system here in this community. You probably have a support system in the local area that you live in. If not, find one, connect with it, and submit your CFP if you haven't yet, for any conference, not just the Blue Team Summit, as we talked about yesterday evening. Even if you don't accept the talk, going through the motions is just as good, because it gives you a pocket talk that you can do at work. And I know Jerry briefly talked about pocket talks. I have like 5 or 6, and I've been called upon to give a pocket talk too many times now. And when I say too many times, I've been, hey, do you have one ready? I'm like, sure, give me let me go find my laptop. They're on my laptop. So.
There you go. Super valuable. Like 100%, everything Fleetus just said, take it to heart. All right, everybody, we are going to go raid Daniel Lowry. Fleetus, thank you for your time today. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. I'm Jerry. He's Fleetus. Your chat. Until next time, stay secure. See you guys at 2 p.m. for Hot Ones. Let's go.